and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca. It is time to do some more of my kookaburra. I will say all I got to do was finish off what we started last week. It's been another one of those weeks. Seriously, I don't know where weeks are going at the moment. They're completely disappearing. My aim now is to finish this before we start the Advent event. That is what I am going for. How soon that will be, how close I cut it to actually finishing, time will tell. But yeah, let's see how much we can get done today. I'm not sure whether I'm going to complete this full section or not. It'll sort of depend on how it goes. Yeah, I'm not putting any pressure. It's a Friday afternoon, and yeah, I've still got loads of other business stuff to do, but I am giving myself about an hour. Yeah, about an hour to be able to do this WIP and Waffle. We have plans with my brother tomorrow, as well as it'll be nails day, but we also have plans with my brother in the afternoon. So yeah, probably got another busy weekend as well as busy week. I feel like I've been trying all week to sort of get myself organised. It's not happening. But yeah, maybe next week will be a new week. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody has had a fantastic weekend by the time you're watching this. Unless, of course, you remember and you've watched this early. If that's the case, I hope you are about to have an amazing weekend. Doing whatever it is that brings you some joy. Yeah, so let's go on to comments, etc. Let's see where the conversation takes us. I will say, in relation to my last WIP and Waffle, on my big Heaven and Earth design project, I have definitely decided to switch to Pattern Keeper. My tablet is fully charged. I am moving over to Pattern Keeper for doing my Heaven and Earth design. It looks loads better for you guys to be able to see why I'm doing it. It works loads better for me, which means I don't have to think as much. And yeah, I mean, markup, if you don't have an Android tablet or the ability to use an Android tablet, then I can see that markup will work for some people. But once you've had Pattern Keeper, you know what you're missing. Put it that way. I know what I'm missing with Pattern Keeper, and I have the ability to use Pattern Keeper. So I am sure, according to the comments, you will all be happy to hear that I will be using Pattern Keeper going forward with that project. So next time, I think will be a lot more of an enjoyable experience, and I'll be able to do a lot more WIP and waffling while I'm doing it, rather than trying to figure out markup as I went along. I think it will be a lot nicer a process. So please don't be turned off from doing any potential cross-stitch conversions by watching my last WIP and Waffle, because things can be loads easier. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so we've got a couple of responses from Liv's Dotting Den. She says she is just sorting out some of her rooms out, as she has dotting bits in nearly every room. That is the thing. Things do like to spread, that's for sure. I tried to make a bit of a headway straightening up this craft room the other day. It's not particularly worked, and I think it's also the fact that this craft room, it needs a good sort out. I need to give it a good sort out and actually just sort of, yeah, just get stuck in and rearrange some bits that are not as easy to rearrange. Primarily my diamond paintings that are underneath my desk. I've been adding ones that I've been unboxing. And yeah, they need, hang on, let me just scoot that over ever so slightly so I don't have diamonds hanging off it. Yeah, I've been adding diamond paintings that I've been unboxing, and some of them are the taller ones, which means they need to go further back, but in my spot for them all. But it also means I need to move all the smaller ones out the way at the front to get those bigger ones in, because it's under my desk. I don't have the angle, it would hit the top. Yeah, so it just needs a little bit more work than a quick tidy up. And then there's a few other things that need a mighty fine kind of sort out. So I think I might have to try and set aside some time for that soon, because I realised as I picked up, again, rainbow pen, yellow pen, rainbow tray, I'm like, I'm not changing my trays up and using different trays and different pens, because my craft room has bits all over the place. And I know that's the reason that I'm doing it. It's just a little bit too disorganised to think about doing things like that. So yeah, when I'm more organised, I find I get more things done. And sometimes it can get completely disorganised, and that's what sets me off. And sometimes it can just be a little bit disorganised, but I have quite a few things that are a little bit disorganised at the moment, i.e. the shop is just a little bit disorganised from our big launch. I just need to do some rearranging of things just to make things that little bit straighter, how I like them. The house is a little bit disorganised, not hugely, but there's just a few things that I sort of need to go through, sweep through and get put away in their proper places and things. I've got my Dreamer Designs diamond painting. I know exactly where that is, and it's not in my craft room. Yeah, so all sorts of things like that completely flummox me. So yeah, I need to pick an area and get it looking better, and then move on to the next area. I just need to find the time to do that. Which is always the problem, is it not? But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get some of that done this weekend, though I do have a second quilt that needs quilting, and I was hoping to do that this weekend. I have scheduled in sort of a quilting update for you in a couple of weeks, just to show you what I've finished and what I've been creating. It's just like a little side video. But yeah, on a plus side though, while I haven't got much Kooka done, I did get some Paint Gem minis done the other day. So that was nice, because I have some more Paint Gem minis on their way to me. Because yes, I absolutely adore them. But yeah, I got a few of those done over the last couple of nights. I just haven't felt like moving off the couch, to be honest. So I decided to do some Paint Gem minis so I could stay sat on the couch. Anyway, she says, when you were saying about all that jazz, she says she went to see Chicago in Bradford last Wednesday. She said it was fab. She said me and her mum, were both singing and dancing to All That Jazz when we were coming out of the theatre. Love it. Always good when you have a good night out like that. Good bit of fun. She also says she's been to Edinburgh to collect her Gold Duke of Edinburgh award a few years ago. She says they were one of the last groups that the Duke presented the award to. She says the city is lovely, which it is. We've been a couple of times to Edinburgh. It's really nice, apart from the train ride up. She says they went to Wetherspoons for brekkie, which is law, she says, when we go on breaks away. You can always get a brekkie in Wetherspoons, that's for sure. The one in Liverpool near my daughter's uni is always packed whenever we meet her there. It's always a packed Wetherspoons. Oh. Get that switched over. Okay, next one. Shirley A. She says, hi, A. Jones. Sorry, Shirley A. Jones. She says, hi, Rebecca. She says her partner has found his woodwork clamps to put on the light pad / canvas. She says, rather than buying some towel clamps. She says, and she's also got a tip to tell me. We always like good tips. They always help somebody out. She says she's seen me cutting some of the glue dot from my pen on my tips and tricks video. So yes, sometimes I do. Depends on how the glue dot goes into the pen, but sometimes I have to put more than one in, and sometimes I need like 1.5, and I often have to sort of cut a little bit off the end. She says rather than cutting the glue dot on your pen, she says dab it on one of the cover paper. She says then do whatever you do with the pen afterwards. Because you can dab it on if you've got double-sided cover paper rather than the printed. The sort of side that goes, or turn it over. So this side can actually be really good for helping prime your glue dot up. So yeah, that could possibly be an idea. See if I can get more of the glue dot into the pen and get it to sit that bit nicer. I'll have to give that a go. Kathy, she says once a while back, she says when she had 4 kids at home, she said, and she worked, she said her 20-something-year-old niece came over, looked around and said, your house is kind of messy. She says that she thought to herself, this is coming from someone without kids, a husband or a job. Yes. A house is kind of messy. It takes a lot to keep a house together, more so than many people think, more so than even those that are able to do it realise half the time. A lot depends on how generally tidy the people that you live with are as well. I mean, I'm great at putting things away and being tidy when the house is tidy initially, and so are many members of the house. However, once things start to go a little bit pear-shaped and things aren't quite put away properly, it doesn't seem to take long for it to spiral, and for then many a thing not to be put away, and then it becomes an even bigger job to get back on top of things, which I can't say I've done yet. I mean, my bathroom's clean, so I'm gonna take that as a win, and take it as a win that at least one of my rooms is clean, and the others just need a bit more help. Just need a bit more help along the way, and a lot of time and a lot of motivation is what they need. And I don't know which is the worst at the moment, lack of time or lack of motivation. Who knows? Who knows? Next week, I may have said it last week, but next week I'm going to see if I can get a bit more organised, get things a little bit more sorted out, but time will tell. I'm sure I'll update on next week's post whether we've got anywhere or not, but if not, take us as we are. Take us as we come, and you know, to be fair, most people that turn up do take us as we are. So yeah, we're actually getting a new boiler fitted in a couple of weeks, so that will make me get things a lot straighter, because I'll kind of have no choice, because even though our plumber is absolutely amazing and will take things as they are and will not be bothered in the slightest, because it's not like everything's filthy, dirty, grubby type. It's just chaotic. I won't like the fact that it's not straight. So I'm hoping that that will motivate me to get even more done when he comes to fit that. Kim Clinton, she says she lives alone. She says, and she tries to keep up with the housework every day. She says she doesn't count laundry as a chore, as it's loaded up and started. Then when the program is done, she says the clothing is hung up on a clothing rail in her sewing room, and the bedding and towels are hung up on airing racks in the sewing room. She says she diamond paints, sews and knits. She says she is knitting a lot at the moment. She says jumpers she started at the beginning of the year, and she's made all 3 jumpers longer. She says the diamond painting that she's doing at the moment is Santa's Coca-Cola truck from that shop that begins with T. She says, but she can only work on that in good daylight. Yeah, see, I would, if it was just me, I would use the washing machine as my washing basket, in effect, and just turn it on as soon as it was full. The thing is, when there's 6 of us, washing can seriously go in waves. It feels as though, you know, when it's full on, all of a sudden either kids straightening their rooms and deciding, you know, what clothes need to go in the wash compared to what doesn't, or of course the end of the work week, when uniform and stuff all goes in the wash all together, or work clothes all go in the wash all together. All of a sudden it's well more than one load. Probably have to do 2 to 3 loads a day in this house to keep on top of it, if we're including bedding and towels and everything else. Yeah, and then it's just drying it all. Just can't dry it all. That's another reason I much prefer spring summer, because I am at least able to potentially get washing dry and get through a good few loads in a day, whereas now we've got maidens in Catherine's room who's at uni, which we're about to lose because it's their sort of half-term week, reading week it's called, so she's going to be home for a week, so we're going to lose the ones that are there, and then the couple of maidens that are downstairs just takes too long to dry. We're not quite at the point of the heating being on all the time to be able to dry a good amount on the radiators, We've not quite hit that point. We're at that in-between point where it is not warm enough to go outside and dry, but not cold enough to have the radiators on and drying clothes. So it can take a good 2 days, even with the dehumidifier on, it can take a good 2 days to get through 3, maybe 4 loads. And then, you know, by then we've built up at least that much, if not more. It's the entertaining type of year, is what it is. YPMIY Uchan, UCHAN. She says, "Hola Rebecca, it's Talita from Brazil here. Thank you for popping your name." Usernames can be tricky. Sometimes usernames on YouTube. She says, "Life is filled of ups and downs," she says, "wherever you are." That is for sure. It is definitely full of ups and downs. You've sort of got to run with it. And as much as the house and everything not being completely organised is driving me doo-diddy-lally, I am trying my best to adopt the "it is what it is" stance to survive. She says the important thing, she says, is not to give up. She says, although there are days we feel it's never ending. She says she's been doing a bit better due to changing meds. She's currently on an MS battle. She says her family is what keeps her going. She says she loathes cleaning. She says, but she has fun in the kitchen. She says cooking seems to unstress her, which is good that you have a nice outlet like that. I'm not a cooking fan personally, but go for it. She says, except when some of the ingredients go bad, she says, and there's no ways to substitute them. It's called a spanner in the works, that one. Oh, I plugged my light pad in to charge and just didn't turn my charger on. What a tit. That's why it just went off. She says, since she can't be upset for long, she says she tends to request help. She says even though she dislikes occupying others with her errands. She says she's got a diamond painting to seal and a scarf to finish. She says she'll have to find some time next week for it all. She says sending lots of love and blessings to you all. And sending blessings to you. You've got a battle at the moment. Definitely something that is not, you know, it's normal for some, but it's not normal for most. So yeah, just keep powering through it. All our struggles, I think we just need to keep powering through, and know that things will even out soon enough, and hopefully life will get back on a little bit more of an even keel at some point. When? Who knows? It might be spring. Might be spring when things get a bit better over here, but even if it is, we'll keep going. Keep ploughing through and doing the things that we enjoy. Right, trying to make sure I don't miss any. This is one of those symbols that I've got visions of missing. Quite a few. Liv, she says she's back again. She says she's from Yorkshire and she always says some weird and wonderful phrases. She said her dad was sorting out a sink for her once, and he asked what type of sink she would like. And she said sink-wise taps. She was trying to say a sink with nice taps, but with the speed she was talking, she said, and her Yorkshire accent, it sounded like she wanted one of those synchronised taps. Love it. As long as you know what you meant, hopefully you can convey it enough so your dad knows what you meant. Especially if he's the one fitting it for you. Debbie, she says on the Colourful pen that she bought, she says when she uses it, she says the metal ends come away, she says, when she places the diamonds. Okay, so in relation to that, it does depend on where you've got your metal tips from. Some of them, like ours, do come with little O-rings. Let me see if I can show you, because I've got mine here. So they come with like little, I'm not sure if you can see them, but these white bits here are little elastic band things. Some tips come with those, which help it fit snug. Some, like this Diamond Art Club one, don't. And what I've actually done on that one, because this is why, the only reason it sticks in properly, is you can either, depending on the pen, so on this pen, it's hollow there, so it goes all the way down. So you'd have to wrap something round the edge. Whereas with this resin pen, it does have a stop point at the bottom. So you can either put a glue dot in the middle part where it stops to help keep hold of it. Or alternatively, if you get a bit of double-sided tape and wrap it round the outside, that will, one, make it a little bit thicker around the edge, but also it will give it something to stick to the sides. So you could try either of those things to help the pen stick in, or the pen tip stick in. So hopefully that'll help you. Cat Lady, she says she only has a small painting on the go at the moment. She says, but the house is turning up drills in many different places again. They get everywhere. She says, by the way, she says the move is creeping along. They are now number 2 in a 4-property chain. Earliest date to move, she says, would be the week before Christmas. She says, but as there is a young family involved, she said it may go until after Christmas or even New Year. Well, I hope whichever way it works out for you. I guess it's a lot on how much everybody wants to move into their new home, as to how much they're up for disruption potentially the week before Christmas. Kids or no kids, I'd probably be too excited to be patient and want to move regardless. But I guess it will also depend on the sort of support system that they have. The bigger the support system, the easier it is for them to say, let's go. So there's definitely a lot of factors involved, I'd say. But yeah, here's hoping that it all goes super duper is what we want. Super duper. Aaliyah, she said today, she said she did the food shop, a washing load, a load in the dryer, medium boxes, 3 weeks worth at once. She listened to YouTube while doing it. While doing said meds. Not sure what the meds boxes are. She says she knows what dinner will be for once. She says, and now she's sat doing some diamond painting. Sounds like you are having a very productive week. Add on to your list to check your emails as well, Aaliyah. Because I know last time we emailed you, it was through the WIP and Waffle that we got you. So yeah, check your emails again, especially your junk box. Put us in your favourites or something so that we don't hide out in there. But yeah, very, very productive. I like the little ticks that you've put in your comments as well. I think quite often tick boxes like that can definitely help motivate. Lots and lots of ticks are always good. Debbie, she says last Thursday, she said she helped her daughter spring clean her house from top to bottom. You sound an absolute gem. I need one of you over here. She says we had to sort out all of her 5-year-old son's toys while he was at school, and they threw away all the bits of toys or ones that were broken, and when he came home from school he noticed and asked his mum where such and such a toy was. She said he's madly into cars and has a ton of them and knows every single one. She says we took them to the tip so that he couldn't get them out of the bin. She said they then placated him by saying that Father Christmas asked us to do it so that there would be room for more new toys. She says that seemed to satisfy him. Sorting out toys with kids can always be a challenge and hard work, that's for sure. Luckily mine, as they've got older, they have got pretty good at sort of clearing out, but it is also quite often something that we sort of have to, all of us have to go, right, okay, we're doing this, and focus on and clear out. Because I could tell you loads of stuff right now I know in my head can go, but I also know if I pull out the stuff that can go, it will then sit in the hallway for far too long, which will then just annoy me in a different way. So yeah, I do like it when we plan declutter sessions so that we can actually have a plan for getting it out the house all at the same time. But yeah, when they were younger it was definitely a bit more of a challenge, especially in what they were willing to get rid of or not. But yeah, we always did tried to do a bit of a pre-Christmas sort out, but we did it a bit before Megan's birthday, so we'd always do that sort of end of October sometime. And then we'd try and have, like, after Christmas, we'd have Boxing Day, that we were, you know, with family, playing with everything they got and all the rest of it. And then at some point in Christmas week, we'd have another sort out as they were putting their new toys away. And sometimes it was easier for them to get rid of older ones to make space for their new ones. But yeah, I feel like I was definitely more organised on decluttering though when the kids were younger. Maybe it's just because their toys are so much more prominent and there. Whereas now it's lots and lots of little bits. Little bits rather than big bits. Darcy, she says, we are getting on and off today. She says we need it. She says, give me about 3 months, she says, and she'll be whinnying about needing sunlight. It's always the way. You always end up wanting the opposite. It's trying to get the right mixture, isn't it? The right mixture of everything. She has just then, she said, sorry, missed the word rain in my last text, she says. So they are getting rain on and off today. I did feel like it was rain I needed to slip in, but then I couldn't quite tell, and I didn't want to add in something that made sense to me but didn't make sense to anybody else, or indeed the person that wrote it. But yeah, we had a few days of quite dry days but cold, and now we just seem to be having a bit of intermittent rain on and off, but no sort of sunshine to speak of, which is a little bit annoying, but hey, I'd just rather have that than any type of torrential rain where I get soaked every time I go to the shop, because I don't need that. Don't need that in my life. She says her wounds have all healed, which is fantastic, and she managed to get 2 sections done on her painting. Here, 4 and up from here on in, to get to the point where you can diamond paint again is absolute gold and what we want. Right, just trying to check I've got all of these. I think I have, but who knows? Maybe I haven't. There's a lot of confetti coming up on this little bit here. But we'll get that one done. Let's go for the letter P. It's my next one to try and fill in this row before I go to some block work finishing off his beak. Dimitri says, hey Rebecca and Zesties, said that was a beautiful live. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and for taking the time to comment. I do really appreciate each and every comment. I might get behind on them sometimes, but that just depends on how much time I can dedicate to a WIP and Waffle. But yeah, I appreciate you all being here. Debbie says she has so many hobbies. She says she finds it hard to know what to work on. She says she has a Heaven and Earth design cross stitch that has 249 colours. Madness if you're doing that as a cross stitch. It's bad enough as a diamond painting, never mind as a cross stitch. She says a knitted blanket. She says that she's doing for her 1-year-old grandson. She says another big diamond painting, she says, called Honey from Dreamer Designs, and some off the canvas key rings. She says plus knitted toys that she makes and sells. You have got loads going on. She says she has no idea what to work on, so she has downloaded the Tiny Decisions app and put them all in there. She says when she has free time, she spins it. She has put everything in 3 times, and they either say 2 hours, 4 hours, or 6 hours. Then there's a choice saying that she can choose, or Mike chooses, who is her husband. And when it lands on Mike's choosing, he says clean the car. And she says no, definitely not clean the car in my free time. She said he then lets me choose. So you get 2 choices, but your hubby gets to mention cleaning the car and you get to tell him to go away. I kind of like it. I do kind of like it. Sounds like a bit of a plan. But yeah, just the Tiny Decisions can be so good for things like that. And if you have regular days or regular sections of the week, should I say, where you get to do crafts and have different types, it can also be good to allocate time frames to them. So for example, I now allocate weekends are when I quilt. Weekdays or week evenings after work are when I diamond paint. And it works really well for those 2 hobbies because diamond painting is more of a sit down, relaxing, perfect for the evening. Whereas quilting, depending on where I'm at, I might need to do a load of stand-up cutting. I might need to do some math. All of that sort of stuff, and do some sums and things like that, which is a whole lot better to do when you're more awake, which makes it definitely more of a daytime thing. So that kind of works for me, and works for splitting mine up. But if I had, all the days to do something, I could potentially, if work wasn't a thing, I could potentially say, okay, if I've got time in the day, I will quilt in the day and I will diamond paint in the evening, because that's how those two hobbies work for me. Or you could all, you could do the decision wheel, but you could also say, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll knit in the evening. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll diamond paint in the evening. Saturday days, I'll diamond paint. You know, whatever crafts you've got and however many, you could sort of split it up that way. And then if you've got other plans, you know, meal out with friends, whatever else, then okay, you just don't do that craft that night. You'll wait till the next time it comes round. Whatever sort of works for you, there are different ways of doing it. But if you find it a hard time to decide which craft to do, not as in whether to do which craft, but as in picking which craft you would like to do, then yeah, splitting it up that way can really help, or spinning the wheel. And then you also know, if you do pick certain days to do certain crafts, for example, you can actually then start to look forward to what you're doing as well. So you can look forward to the fact that tonight is a diamond painting night. Or you can plan out, I can plan out what quilt project I'm going to work on at the weekend, knowing that I've got, say, Sunday free, which is this weekend. I've got Sunday free. Saturday isn't. Saturday is a full-on day. So yeah, by the time we get back in from seeing my brother and his boys and his wife on Saturday, then, you know, I might have a bit on Saturday evening, but I also know I'm probably going to be a bit wiped out Saturday evening. So it may be that I just go, oh, I'm just going to get a few bits out ready for Sunday. Or tidy my quilting cupboard, which I could also do with doing. Maybe I'll do that on Saturday night, so Sunday will be nicer. But yeah, you can sort of look forward to what it is that you're doing and plan for what it is that you're going to do. If you set it to certain days. It's working for me anyway. There is still the odd occasion that breaks the rule. I know once I was very close to being able to finish piecing a quilt, and I hadn't quite finished piecing the top together. So I did take a Monday evening to finish it up rather than wait till the following weekend. But then there's also been evenings when I've done a few hours of quilting or finished up, say, quilting a quilt, and thought, you know what, actually, I'm going to sit down and diamond paint this evening. And it might be the weekend, and that's fine too. But yeah, it's good to sort of set myself those mini goals, and then I can look forward to each thing. Just at the moment, my my days during the week, the evenings, I've been pretty wiped the past few weeks. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully things can only get better and I can get more in of everything. Lady Dax, she says, well, the kitchen is still not done. Goodness me. What on earth are they not doing? Because they definitely don't seem to be able to get their act together, that's for sure. She says she's now on steroids and antibiotics for a chest infection, which will definitely knock you for six for a few days as well. She says at least she got half of a paint gem mini done today, she said, while watching. No mean feat, she says, with shaking steroid fingers. She says, much love to you all. Yes, it is no mean feat. You need something to sort of rest onto try and use your pinky finger to steady your hands while you're trying to get it done. Christine, she said, gosh, she says those drills were very holy. Yes, the letter Q drills that I did before, beautiful colours. But yes, some of them have what I'd call ginormous holes in them. That's for sure. I'm guessing something went on in the production process for that colour. But hopefully I'll have enough. I guess time will tell, and we will find out if I have enough as we go along. I do keep having the odd drill that pops off. I've just managed to catch one just running my finger over it. So that gets a little bit entertaining with this painting, but it looks pretty. And once you stand back and look from a distance, he's really coming together. So I will keep going, as they say. Christine says she finished Fandango this weekend. She says the colours were wonderful. And she added in some of our diamond dust drills. She says she is so happy with the result. She says now she feels the impetus to finish other paintings. Good. There's nothing like a spur on to finish more. I have a mini spur on every time I do a whip and waffle. I'm like, oh yeah, continue. But then I have other jobs that need my attention. Maybe I should try next time I film a whip and waffle to not have anything that has to be done after it, so that I can just go straight into sitting on my bum and diamond painting. Maybe that would work well. Who knows? She says she hopes my quilting weekend went well. She says blessings to you and the family. Yes, it did. It went really, really well, thank you. I got a lot more done on my quilt kit that I picked up for that weekend. It's got quite a few repetitive parts, so I did get a good chunk of those done. I have quite a few projects that sort of need finishing up. But I also want to sort of get to, you know, the next stage on this kit for the sew days, hopefully before our last sew day at the end of November, so that I can hopefully start putting some bits together, and then I guess I'll end up finishing the rest of it at home, quite possibly. Try and get some projects finished. One of the lovely ladies brought me a pattern for a bag as well, a quilting bag. She said that's a really simple and easy design to put together, which is the kind of thing I need. So I'm quite excited to do that as well, because it'd be quite nice to have a quilted bag that I can take with me on days like the sewing days. And it'd be nice to be able to transport some of my sewing machine bits and my scissors and tools and stuff in a nice quilted bag. She did say to me, she said, I want you to see a bag done. She says, next time I see you. And I was like, that might be a little bit hard. But that is because I've got projects that need finishing up before I want to start cutting fabric for another one. Otherwise, I would have loved to have got it done for the next time I go. But yeah, I really need to get some projects off the table, considering I much prefer doing one, maximum of two at a time. Yeah, I've got lots of projects that I want to do. I've also, my sister-in-law, I've got some fabrics for a quilt, and I know the pattern and I've got it all ready, but I daren't cut into any fabric until I've finished up what I've got on the go at the moment. So yeah, maybe at some point I'll get this quilt bag done, see how long it takes me to get all the other projects tidied up, which depends how busy my weekends are. We shall see. We shall definitely see. Elias, she said she would love to see Megan's when it's finished. She said, is it King's Path? Yes, it is still King's Path. She is a busy bee at the moment, and she wants to get it finished because she also wants to do 12 Days of Spookmas from Diamond Art Studio. She's got her eyes set on that kit next. Not that she hasn't got a load of other kits that she needs to do. But yeah, she's got her eyes set on that. But yeah, she's actually away this weekend at friends. It's her birthday. So a couple of her friends have birthdays around the same sort of time. So they're all having a collective Halloween party. So she is off there this weekend, living it up with her friends, and all celebrating getting a little bit older. So it'll keep her busy. Right, I might get one or two more colours done, and then I have got stuff I need to do before Postie arrives to pick up the Friday mail. Kim, she says trudging wet laundry down the stairs to hang on the line, she says, would be awful, which is true. She says one good reason, she says, for not having the washer upstairs, which is, I mean, with your dirty clothes, you know, you either bring the basket down, which I suppose is still trudging them, but they're not as heavy as when they're wet, or you can just launch them down the stairs, pick them up from the bottom. So that works. She says the perfect solution, she says, to it all, she says, would be for us to have a cleaning lady who does all the laundry. She said it's nice to dream, isn't it? Yes, it is nice to dream. I agree. And it is a very, very good idea to potentially do. I do very much like that idea. And I think it would work for many. It's one of those tasks that just creeps up on us time and time again, is it not? Right. Okay, I'm actually going to get a couple of these colours in here. I'm tempted to do that one, but it's a huge block of them over there. So I think I might just do a couple of these more fiddly ones first. I'm just going to do a couple that I can just dip into my pot to get rid of. So I've got one there. No, can't get up. There we go. One there. That's those two. Then I've got these two. This is when I really like these pots, when the diamonds just sort of line up across the bottom. And I can just pick a couple to pop them in those spots. And then pop that one in. Okay, and then let's do H and M because they are very bitty. And save the plod along multi-placing for me to potentially sneak in later on. I can maybe just sneak in and do one of the colours in between doing other things to finish up the section afterwards. Because for some reason, even though it's bigger sections, because I can now multi-place, albeit I'm only up to a 4-placer, potentially 5, but considering I can just sneak in and multi-place, if it's only one colour, that I do each time. I feel like it doesn't take as much time as single placing all these bits of one colour. They probably take about the same amount of time, but my brain thinks it takes less time, so I feel like I can sneak it in. Grey Legrand, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She said, this is a little bit off topic. She says, but she has been thinking about Dreamer Designs Supernova in her stash. She says she kind of wants to start it. Supernova is a lovely bright one. But she's working on a large 60 by 80 floral by Alyssa Carey in squares. She says typically, she says when she does larger paintings, she stays monogamous. She says for a while here, she says she hasn't been working on multiple kits at once. She says it makes her consider if she has storage or tools that she should part with. And then she's laughed. She says, just kidding, she says she does love her stuff. But still, she said Supernova. She says her dance card kind of feels full because she wants to do some events. And for Jingle Drills, she wants to work on her giant Diamond Art Club Garfield Christmas canvas. She says it is 70 by 70 and squares. Now, I feel your dilemma. I really, really do, Grey Legrand. I'm not liking what I'm saying, so you're probably not going to like it either. But as I'm filming this now, it is now officially the 1st of November, which means we can't hide away from the fact that that season is round the corner. We've discussed Christmas loads here, just because it always starts early over here. In fact, our Christmas rush is now calming down, which I'm ever so grateful for when it comes to, like, I'm glad that we do our stuff earlier on, because when it does come to actual Christmas time, things aren't as panicked for us. However, I do know from your comments on earlier videos and earlier WIP and Waffles and earlier Christmas events that your Christmas is a bit chaotic, Grey Legrand. And as much as I want to say kit it up and go for it and have multiples on the go, and that was my first initial thought, when you said you want to do some events and you want to kit up a 70 by 70 for one of those events, my thoughts then went to, if you did kit up Supernova and start working on it, you're going to have the excitement of starting to work on it, the new kit feeling, which we all get when we start a new kit. You're going to get that feeling. However, you're then going to find, because of your other big ones that are on the go and because of the events, that you're a bit overwhelmed and you're going to feel like you're going to have to pause Supernova, which again is not a bad thing. But I think you're going to feel like Supernova needs to be paused because you've got the big one you're currently working on and whichever one it is for an event. And my only question to you is, if that happened, which is perfectly fine, are you going to have that new kit feeling when you pick up Supernova again? Or are you going to have that, this one I've been doing forever feeling when you pick up and go to do Supernova again? That is the question, because if you are going to lose that new kit feeling and then have to pause your kit, you're not going to get that new kit feeling back. Whereas if you waited until after the events and then did it, you would have that new kit feeling and be able to keep it up while you got through a good chunk of it. That's my thought on it anyway. Still your decision, but that's my thing to think about before making your decision, if that makes sense. Right, I am going to have to leave it now and go and get some stuff done. There are a few more comments, but not too many, only about 3 or 4 that we will pick up next week. But yeah, thank you for joining me for another stage of my kookaburra, which I plan to get finished this month. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.